Welcome back. So second part on this, and you cannot complete a day of a budgetary exercise just months before a general election in this country without at least asking the question, does it have a bearing on it? If we are told is the economy stupid, then obviously it has a huge bearing on it. So I'm going to begin this telecast as I began the last one by asking 5 questions. Question number 1. Has Prime Minister Narendra Modi delivered a strong economy to go back to the people with? Are we hale and hearty and doing well? Question number 2. Will every Awas, Nal, toilet, Ujjwala cylinder, will this equal a vote for sure? Is the muted populism of this budget a reflection of political confidence? Are there jobs being generated at a scale large enough for this not to become a political issue for 2024? And does any other political force in this country have a better economic idea or a better plan? Criticism they can have. Who has the better idea and the better plan? Now, let me touch upon just 5 points of reference in this before we open this up. On houses, 2 crore houses are being planned, 1.2 crore are either done or almost done, for which 79,000 crore extra has been already sanctioned. This year in this budget, 1.3 lakh crore has been spent. 11.7 crore toilets have been built. Now, let's say percentage of them don't have water, percentage of them poor construction. Even if you build 7-8 crore toilets, it's a huge chunk. 7.8 crore taps. Again, presuming some of them only get water once in a while. Our ground report dipstick tests have been positive. But even if you build a few crore taps, huge deal. 9 crore, for some reason my brain was stuck at 2.5 crore when the scheme started, but 9 crore of these gas cylinders under Ujjwala have been distributed. Again, let's assume not everybody gets them all the time or in a timely fashion. Not everybody gets a chance to refill them, even if it's just a few crore. Fundamental change. On what is an out-and-out welfare scheme, 800 million people getting 5 kilograms of grain every month. A direct benefit transfer, direct transfer into the bank account of 7 lakh crore per year across various schemes. In Ayushman Bharat, 22 crore cards have been now verified, 4.2 hospital admissions, 4.2 crore hospital admissions have been catered to, and that's 49,000 crores of bills which have been subvented under the insurance scheme. Xavier Rodriguez of the BJP joining us, Teswin Poonawalla also joining us on the broadcast. Gentlemen, welcome and appreciate your time. Let me start with Alok Mehta. Alok Mehta, has Narendra Modi delivered a strong economy to go back to the people with?
Yeah, certainly. I think this is a long-term politics, what he was doing. When since last 4 years, there was so many concessions. And you are very rightly said, all these schemes, that's why all the time with MPs and MLAs and the party men, he's appealing them to go to the people and just convince that these are the schemes which we delivered, or we are ready to work from.
Okay, but that's not going to be everything. There's going to be emotion. You know, you will have the Ram Mandir being inaugurated. Okay, I don't know, some UCC debate might come up. There's going to be some other X factors also. Okay, let's not assume, Alok Mehta, you're doing it much longer than I have, sir. Emotions matter. Okay, but on the ground base, you have to have some solidity for the emotions to tip it over the top. Is there solidity to at least go back to it with an impressive report card?
Yeah, that's why. Because the common people, poor people, they support, maybe middle class, that's why in this budget for the income tax rebates and all this, for the middle class. But otherwise, he always emphasized, that's why I'm saying, Narendra Modi tried what it used to be a socialist type of system. One side, most modern, self-reliance. That's why the one word I should say, he is trying to bring in society and the country in the self-reliance mode.
Okay, self-reliance, welfareism, great thing. Socialism, what we did for a very long time, perhaps not the best way to go about it. But okay. Now, Xavier Rodriguez, if I were to do just simple poll math, okay, and sit down and say, okay, if there are 4-5 people a family and you're going to end up building 2 crore houses before the elections come up, That should be 4-5 crore votes for you right there. The BJP got 25-26 crore votes last time around. If every house that got a toilet voted for you, that's 11 crore votes right there. If every house that got an Ujjwala cylinder voted for you, that's 9 crore votes right there. If every house that got 5 kilograms of grain a month voted for you, that would be 80 crore votes. If every house whose hospital bill the government covered, would be another 4.5 crore votes. So on the basis of this, you've touched a lot of houses, but what is the guarantee that everything you deliver is a vote for you?
Rishabh, to be honest, I don't think there is a guarantee to any way a voter votes. But as a government and as people with vision, it is important for us to use the opportunity that we get in governance to build India and to take forward what the people of India require. Now, of course, elections come and go. But when you are put in the position of the government, the first responsibility is not necessarily to win an election the next time around. What is important is that India is currently poised to be globally competitive with most of the different nations in the world. And that is exactly what this budget is all about. It's a very positive
But
budget.
Savio, you yourself will happily admit
budget.
that the BJP takes election very seriously. Narendra Modi, 9 years later, for all the
Of
personality
course.
and the persona,
Of
hits the
course.
ground and he's
But
campaigning because he
that's
wants
the
to win
political
elections.
Party. Rishabh, that's the political party, and then I agree with you. But when you're in the government, obviously you're going to do things in a manner that looks forward towards India progressing. And when India progresses, people have a right to choose.
But Savio, a lot of people will happily take the schemes, but they may not still vote for you. That's a reality of a democracy.
Of course, and I agree to that. But should we stop doing what is necessary for India to grow? I think
Also, of course not.
The important thing for us to do
Okay,
is to progress.
also, of course not. Alok Mehta wants to make a small interjection, then I want to speak to the other guests as well. Alok ji.
You know, that's why what he's doing, he says, okay, if you are not vote for BJP, even then the workers should go to those people, especially the minorities, what we are talking about.
Okay, so you know, there's an understanding, there's not a blind calculation that, okay, if I have given DBT to these many families, okay, we are sorted for 2024. Okay, I want to quickly bring in both Vivan and Jayjeet on the third question, and I'll come to Tehseen for number 4 and 5. Jayjeet, does it smack of a populist budget today? An election year populist budget?
So populism would have been if you're targeting vote banks. So let's say you say that certain schemes are for only Brahmins or only OBC or only whatever Thakurs, then that's a populist scheme. If you're saying that I'm going to give food to the vulnerable sections of the society and therefore I'm going to put 2 trillion rupees to provide food, that is not populism. That's supporting the vulnerable sections. So I don't see in this budget a populist move per se. Now, if you're supporting certain segments and certain industries, then for sure you're benefiting somebody.
Okay.
But that is
okay.
not.
So overall
based on
muted
vote
on populism, because my definition of populism would be fiscal deficit be damned. We'll worry about it next year. Let's cancel all the loan waivers, this, that, and all. Haven't seen it. That doesn't mean election mathematics has not gone in. Yes, there has been an allocation for Karnataka. Yes, 7,000 crores were recently announced just a month ago for the Northeast states. One would say that that's a good thing to be done. Okay, Vivan Saran, same question to you. Did this smack of a populist budget, an election year budget, not really one for the economy, only meant to win elections?
No, I think the factors that you identified, keeping the fiscal deficit in check and not really exceeding the revenue expenditure by a lot from last year compared to CapEx indicates obviously it's not a populist budget, but I think it is a budget that's geared towards the middle class. I think there's a sense perhaps that, it's not necessarily those at the bottom of the socioeconomic pyramid who are sitting and looking at these budgets. It is the middle class, upper middle class, middle class, lower middle class that are really concerned about this day in the calendar. And to that extent, I think it could be qualified as a middle class oriented budget. Which also, of course, looks at the aspirations of the same.
Okay, Vivan and Jayjeet, thank you. Now I'm going to bring in Tehseen to get his breakdown and then let Savio counter it before we wrap up. Tehseen, why would you think today that a Narendra Modi will not be able to go back to the people and say that he has delivered a strong economy, if nothing else?
He's delivered a terrible economy. If you see the real growth rate of India, it's a terrible economy. He perhaps may get re-elected on a lot of other reasons, but economy is terrible. We've just about, if you see the growth rate that is now touted to be 7% by the government, 6.1 by IMF, it's actually now the 2018-19 levels. If you consider, it's only a 2% growth from there. So actually the economy is contracted. Let me give you real numbers, because this government is a master in jugaad. The UPA got 27 crore people out of poverty. This government pushed 23 crore people in poverty. I was hearing this budget very, very attentively. And for all the things that have been spoken even about on this show, let's be clear, this budget has no vision for creating jobs, new age jobs. There is absolutely zero vision. Now, things that were spoken on this show, and I was noting down, capital expenditure, number of times it was spoken while I was here. Well, for last year, the capital expenditure was 7,50,000 crores. The government's actual expenditure was 7,28,000 crores. It could not even meet it. For the PM Kisan Yojana, it was 68,000 crores. Actual expenditure was 60,000 crores. This government is fantastic in headlines management. Only television, no vision. Ultimately, what happened? They've cut Manrega 32%, whereas last year they went 3 times back to added allocation to Manrega. So again, this government is only about
anything that you think that hang a second. He's waited patiently for everyone. Let him have a say.
One last time. Now, you see, again, another word that was spoken on this show is fiscal deficit is not so much. Do you know in the last 9 years, under the vision of Shri Narendra Modi ji, India has not once met her fiscal deficit targets, not once. And for our CAD targets are now under scrutiny because the CAD jugaad that they're doing, which is leading to inflation, and they say it's only imported inflation, is they are not counting the PSU deficit in the CAD.
Okay. So you're okay. Now, Tehseen, I have a couple of follow-ups before I get rebuttals. Anything you think we've done well, that the government has done well, that India as a country is doing well on economically?
Well, it would have done better. India is poised to become the 3rd largest economy in the world, irrespective of whichever government is there. What this government is doing terribly is what I'll tell you.
Okay, but you can't think of a single thing they've done well, not one thing.
In this particular budget, no.
Okay, all right. So you mentioned jobs, and that was an important part of the question because that's a fundamental argument.
Very important.
Is jobs a political issue for you, your party, for 2024?
What I'm advising is not only should it be fundamental to coming to power in 2024, the Congress and the opposition should take a position that English should be made very, very important and should be taught at all levels, because the move away from English will take away from job creation in Web 3.0 and in the new age technologies. Even China, Japan, Germany, when they moved to space technology, they taught their population English. So not just job creation, emphasis on English and speaking English to our population should be the way forward.
Okay, so you're saying that you have some suggestions, but does any other political force in this country have a better idea, better economic plan? Because we haven't seen one so far. Somebody coming and saying this is our economic plan and this is why everything's wrong and this is how we're going to fix it.
I think the UPA did much better economically, and I'll give you one last data before you go to your other viewers. In the UPA, the growth was UPA 1, UPA 2 from $709 billion economy to $2.4 trillion economy, a growth of 191%. NDA has gone from 2.04 trillion to 3.18%, a growth of just 55%. Per capita income in UPA went from 624 to 1559, that was a growth of 149%, whereas in this government it's gone from 1559 to 2256, a growth of just 45%. This government simply does not know how to handle economy. The proof of the pudding is this, that tax was mentioned 51 times in our budget speech by the Honorable Finance Minister. And jobs just 6 times, poor just 2 times. Youth just 8 times.
Now let Savio rebut, and I'll come to everyone else for a last thought. Bimalji is also waiting. Savio, now you heard the criticism, okay? Certainly everything is not fixed. There are going to be problems, and it will be naive of us to think that it's all sunshine and roses everywhere we go. There are still lots of challenges, and the biggest challenge will be creating 10 million jobs a month. Now, are we confident that somehow they are coming? Because I have no data worth its salt that I can discuss with you. Are we just somehow ephemerally confident that that is happening?
Well, I'm okay with criticism, and that's okay, all right, because the most important thing for us to understand that one of the yardsticks of seeing where progress of a country is to look at startups, look at MSMEs, And I'm surprised that Tehseen doesn't see anything in the budget for startups and MSMEs. Has he mapped the growth of startup and MSMEs ever since his government has come into play? I'm a startup entrepreneur myself. We've invested in over 9 startups over the last 5 years, simply because we are bullish on the way startups are moving. So while you might see certain issues and look at it and say, okay, everything is not hunky-dory, I don't expect it to be hunky-dory. The world went through a COVID crisis. Economically, there's going to be a downturn in the next couple of months globally. But is India poised to deal with it? Yes, India is poised to deal with it. And one of the yardsticks to look at growth is always startups and MSMEs.
But is that going to generate, Savio Rodriguez, the 10 million plus jobs a month that we need? I'm not saying that the Congress has a better plan or Mamata has a better plan or anybody. I've not seen a better plan, okay? But are we somewhere developing these jobs? How do we know if we are?
You have to work towards that. You have to work towards creating 10 million jobs, and the government is doing that. And one of the ways of creating jobs is not government jobs alone. It's about creating entrepreneurship. And as long as you create entrepreneurship, you will create jobs. Because entrepreneurs are going to need people to work for them.
Okay.
So I think we need to define jobs more clearly. A lot of people in this country, especially in the political spectrum, think jobs are about government jobs. I'm sorry. Jobs are not about government jobs.
So let me get the others. Let me get different perspectives on this fundamental issue.
Go ahead.
Yes.
I just wanted to add about this unemployment issue. You see, I think Tehseen ji, tomorrow you ask your electrician, the freelance electrician, how much he earn when he go to your house or any of the middle class people house. He earn around in Delhi 400 to 500 rupees for one visit. If you go for 4 houses, then he get 2,000 rupees, and in the average 50 to 60,000 rupees they are earning. Plumber, electrician. So skill development and they are not skilled by the skill development centers. Just go to Chhattisgarh where your Congress party is there. Go to Dantewada, you will find people, women. I went there and that's why I have the record on television also. You know, Dantewada, the tribal woman earning 20 to 25,000 rupees by this battery rickshaw chalak which we have in East Delhi or some area. So, and with some vegetable also.
Other kinds of jobs.
Other kinds of jobs which are not, no record.
We are absolutely
no Niti Aayog, no planning commission. They don't have any figure. How this
it's all a guesstimation,
they
and we are bad at it. It's a guesstimation. So let me see if we can get good at it. Dr. Jaideep Bhattacharya, okay, we have no clue. Everything, including government, guesses that if we are building these many kilometers of road, we are probably generating these many jobs. So we have no clue. But are we 10 million jobs a month is heck of a figure.
So I think the term jobs is not what we're really looking for. I think the term we should use is income generation capabilities.
Fair enough.
So, and there are multiple ways to generate income. The last time I did a deep dive on it, which is about 7-8 years back, or in around 2016, there were enormous number of jobs. In fact, precisely 7 lakh jobs created only by Uber and Ola and Uber. And by that extension, there will be a large number of gig workers getting created. The problem is when you do a survey and you knock on the door and you ask, do you have jobs in this household? The answer will be yes. Will be sorry, no, because they will say that we don't have a job, but we are having an income. But that is not the question that was asked, and therefore the answer that comes is also incorrect. And so there is a problem with data for sure.
Okay.
And therefore, we do need to look at other ways of collecting the data.
Okay. When masses are unemployed, okay, and there is a Great Depression, and people are on the streets and going hungry, you would be able to again look and see it happening. Something was going wrong. It's not. Doesn't mean that there won't be political repercussion, but this remains an important point. So let me get Hindol back into this. Hindol, how do we know whether we're generating jobs if everybody's just guessing and hoping for the best?
We don't know. A lot of data in this country is still missing. However, Rishabh, we do know that the number of people paying tax and the amount of tax that is being paid is going up. We do know that the number of people who are coming under the, in the broad framework of, contributing for their pension, that number is going up. We do know that these fundamental numbers are consistently going up. We do know that more and more people are participating and buying goods and services from which our taxation is coming from. So we do know, taking Jayajit Bhattacharya's point, we do know that income generation in this country is happening at a wider and a faster, rate than perhaps ever in its independent history.
Okay.
Now, I take Tehseen Pulapala's point that jobs is something that we need to focus on, but I do think that Jayajit Bhattacharya is right. The way we define the word jobs is incorrect.
And I'm meeting a new generation of people, and I still think I'm young, but I'm meeting a new generation of people who don't want a job. I have jobs on offer in case somebody wants one. They don't want a job. They want to work on gigs. They only want to work on projects. They don't want to, sign a contract. Very strange thing. So let me just quickly address this. Bimal Jain, are you seeing better ideas and better models being presented to us? That, okay, this person, this force has a great idea, a great solution, a great suggestion, which government should incorporate now. If not, these people should be running the country of, 1 year from now.
See, these are the pointers. You may have difference of opinion from two, different corners. But to my mind, if you look at the budget, this budget is a road mapping budget and focusing on GDP growth around 7%. And it is not only government which is focusing, even International Monetary Fund has also said that we are going to be fourth largest economy by 25. And third largest economy by 27. And this is international recognition to us. And China, which is going to have only 5.2% as against 6.5% of India GDP growth. Having said that, now there are many pointers for which details are not available. Of course,
the details will come our way, and that's a very specific budgetary analysis, obviously. Okay, but again, how do I, sitting here, judge whether India is generating jobs? I can tell you the United States is, I can tell you the figures in the Germany, in the UK, but we don't know. Okay, we haven't figured out a way to figure out what Dr. Jayajit Bhattacharya just said, income generation. So Aditya, let me then take a dipstick test with you. Okay, I'm assuming since you are an entrepreneurial sort of fellow, so you don't have a salaried job per se. Okay, but you would perhaps are employing others. And there'll be somebody working on, on gigs with you, on projects with you, on a temporary basis, on contracts with you. Okay. Is that an uptick? Are you seeing more such opportunities available, or are you saying that most people are calling you desperately that, Aditya, do you have something for us? Give us something, yaar, mujhe kuch nahi mil raha mahino se. What is the dipstick test?
Okay. So from my personal experience, Rishabh, the dipstick test is that now people have moved away from the culture where they want to grow in the same organization for the next 20 years. For them, the challenge is that they want newness in whatever they do. It's not just about growth, right? And that's where the gig economy culture sets in, right?
But Aditya, are you getting calls from friends and other former employees or former colleagues that, bhai, बहुत हालत खराब है, ठीक है, कुछ कर दे यार, कहीं नौकरी लगा दे या कोई project करवा दे? Or is it, when you're calling people, they're generally very busy and there's a lot of talent out there. They want to work with you, but they've already got stuff going on.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I get calls from my friends every second day ki yaar, I want to explore startup investments. Every second day I want to work with a portfolio company of yours. I want to do computing, even if I'm a commerce graduate. I want to create social media content, right? That's a new category of jobs that are opening up in India with thousands of creators. Tell me how to create content. I get phone call from my friends saying that I actually want to leave a well-established job and want to work at a startup. Not just because, of course, I'll take a huge salary dip, but actually I want to work with people and understand what is the ground reality of the ecosystem or the ground reality of the problem that we are trying to.
Okay.
Right? So you see a huge cyclical change, Rishabh.
Okay.
Because as I said, we don't want the today's generation does not just want a high salary income in their account.
No, everybody wants money in their bank. Okay, but I understand the experiential aspect of you. I think my generation gave up on the logic of working with the same place for 30 years. This generation is probably going to the other extreme that they want to change jobs every 2 months. Like I said, an extreme nature of the gig economy. I think a balance will somewhere be found. But here is the summation of a larger perspective that we wanted to ask and answer of this. So for the past 1 hour, you heard an assessment. Have we moved from incremental change to solid, transformative, structural change. Has a Narendra Modi got it in his report card to come back to you, the people, and say, look, on the economy, I have delivered. On other aspects, I'm doing A, B, C, D. Have faith in me for another 5 years. Did you find this budget to be populist? I didn't, but maybe you did. Did it smack of some kind of populism, election orientism, or did it sound like that this is, thinking 24, 25, 26 and moving on, regardless of what happens? Did Narendra Modi live over 9 years the slogan of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, or was it just a slogan? Did it smack of some Hindu nationalist, fundamentalist, right-wing budget or right-wing economics for the past 9 years? And if you can ask yourself these questions and come to some answers, okay, maybe we can understand and have some self-confidence that if a prime minister can best be coach and captain, the rest of the country and its economy have to be built by the rest of us.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.